Hello everyone! Welcome back to Gardening with the Landscape Connection. My name is Michelle. I live in Northern Illinois, Zone 5. Today I thought I'd take you on a garden tour with me as we go and look at some of the flowers and things that are growing in my beds at my house. And then I thought we'd head next door, take a quick look at the garden beds and the cut flower garden, and then look at some of the beds at the store. Now, I'm not going to take you through every single thing because that would just take way too long. I thought, it's the beginning of July. Tomorrow's 4th of July. So I'm taking tomorrow off. I can't wait. I'm actually going to work in the garden. But what's really cool is there's some nice things right now that are blooming, and I thought I'd take you through and show you what they look like. So if this is your first time here, welcome. I'm so glad that you've decided to join us. Our station is about gardening, and today it's a tour. So if this is someone that is returning, thank you. I hope you enjoy our tour today. Let's get started without further ado. This was the very first garden bed that I ever put in when we moved in here, and I like to sit on my covered porch up here in the evenings, and that was why I made this bed, because I wanted to be able to enjoy some beautiful flowers. Now, when I bought this property 6 years ago, I did not know that it was 100% clay. So as I have been gardening here, I have learned how to grow in heavy clay. And when I made this bed, I didn't amend it. I just started learning what would grow in the clay and what would not. So as you can see here, we have some beautiful fall sunflowers. This is Heliopsis. This one is the Tuscan Sun. I absolutely love these. They have a crazy long bloom time. The pollinators love them, and they are just that beautiful, beautiful summer yellow. Below that, I have some beautiful daylilies blooming. These are the Gentle Shepherds. There's 3 of them. That one's blooming. The other 2 are nice and budded up. But as we come through the bed, you'll see different things. We have our Zagreb Coreopsis that's blooming. We also have some beautiful sedum down here. This is the Dragon's Blood. Some of our annuals that we put in here are starting to put on some bulk. So as you can see, that's the Proven Winners Meteor Shower Verbena. We also are starting to get some size back here on our Cleomes. And then if we pan around this way, you can see our beautiful daisies are growing. And then we got the jazzberry over here starting to bulk up a little bit. The cone flowers are starting to put on a little bit of a show. So all in all, I'm really pleased with how this bed looks. And I'm always forever working on this bed. I don't think it'll ever be done. As you can see, I still haven't gotten around to pruning the boxwoods. And if you saw the last video, you'll notice that I got some of the black-eyed Susans out, but I didn't get them all out. I did get the iris out, and I did get the spireas out. But this for me is a bed that's always a work in progress. It's one that I kind of test things in, I experiment with. And so I just like this kind of cottage garden look in here, and I will probably forever be changing this garden bed. Another garden bed at the house that's looking especially good right now is the front bed or the side bed. I guess it depends on your perspective, because the road is right there. And this is actually the side of my house, but from the road, it looks like the front of my house. So in here, I have a beautiful Alice hydrangea that's blooming. It's an oak leaf hydrangea. It's got some beautiful flowers on it. I just love this shrub. I actually have 4 of them. And it's interesting because 3 of them I planted at the same time, and 2 of them are not blooming at all, and 1 is, and I couldn't tell you why. But what I do love about this bed is all of the annuals that are starting to bulk up a little bit. So we have our low bowls in here full of the impatiens down the sidewalk to give us some of the flower power, and those are starting to bulk up. And then we have our Proven Winter Coleus with the impatiens in the pots along the sidewalk. We've used the Velveteen and the Pineapple Brandy, and those are starting to get some size on them as well. And then look at my big, beautiful flowers on my Incredible. Now this one never gets as big as it should because it doesn't get enough sun, but it gets enough on it that I keep it, and I love it in this area. So I just love the Incredible. I just love the size of those flowers. So I just think that this looks absolutely gorgeous. As we're coming down, our mountain hydrangea is also starting to bloom. And I also had, I don't know what the deal is. I've never had this happen before, but I have box elder bugs everywhere. It's like their eggs were in the mulch or something, and thousands and thousands and thousands of them hatched, and they're everywhere. Now, they're not really eating anything, but they're everywhere. But this is my mountain hydrangea here. Look at the beautiful bloom on that. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. Right now I'm not doing anything about these box elder bugs, but I might come out here with my sprayer with some soap and water and see if I can knock the population down a little bit. I don't know if that'll work or not, but we're gonna try. Okay, as we come along back here, check this out. This is the Mini Vista Yellow from Proven Winner. Absolutely fabulous. It's kind of taken over the whole pot here. You can barely see the mini me watermelon in here unless you're on this side. I did put some white Surefire begonias in here. And these pots, you know, they didn't quite turn out how I wanted them to. The coleus is kind of taken over the pot and you really can't see the impatiens or the euphorbia in here. But this one that's a little bit bigger has a little bit more of the double impatient that you can see. But I still like them. They still have nice color and they filled out very well. Here's our big Sedona bowl here with our dipped in wine coleus in the middle, our green with envy potato vines. We've got some Bordeaux petunias in here, and then some bubble gum, which is really taken off to where it's almost overpowering. Well, not almost, it is overpowering the Bordeaux, but I still like the look of this pot a lot. And then I did do some super bells, which I normally don't have good luck with. I usually end up overwatering them, but these seem to be doing pretty good. And I did a combination on this one of the Super Bells Double Yellow, which is this beautiful one right in the center. And then opposite each other, I did the Tropical Sunrise. It's got the beautiful yellow throat and the stripes through it, so it kind of matches my double yellow here. And then I put the new Pink Lemonade in here, which is a nice blend of different colors. So I really like the way these are bulking up. I like the way they are looking. I like the baskets that I chose to put them in. And so we're just gonna keep feeding those and let them get a little bit bigger. Over here, we've got a white Gara that I'm in love with, and now I'm gonna get some more and put it in the landscape. It is a perennial Gara, and I did it in this pot, and I just love it. It's been blooming nonstop. There isn't a lot of change back here in the garden beds. Things have gotten bigger, but I haven't added anything since the last time I gave you a tour of this area, so it's kind of the same, just things are a little bit bigger. You can see I've been cutting on my parsley here, but my see, they're everywhere. The box elder bugs are just, they're everywhere. They're on everything. They aren't eating, but they're just hanging out. But my basil's looking pretty good. My fennel's looking pretty good. Here is another oak leaf hydrangea. And again, I don't know why this one's not blooming, but you can see where we bulked up the shade area and planted things, and everything in here is doing really well. It's getting a little bit of size on it. So I'm pretty happy with how all of this is doing back here. The one pot that I'd probably say has been my biggest fail has been this one here, because the sedum has just taken over the pot. I'm probably going to have to get in there and just totally thin that down so that the lantana has a chance to get a little bit bigger. But I'm pretty happy with all the rest of them and how they're turning out. So over here we have another part of our shade garden as it takes us to the side yard. Here is my beautiful Astilbe, the Vision in pink, and I think these are just absolutely gorgeous. This is the best I've ever had these look, and so I just think it's just fabulous. I just love the pink flower on that. Isn't that gorgeous? I just love that. And so even when these are done blooming, the flower stalk still looks good on there. Now my Incredible Blush is really struggling over here. I think it's having some watering issues. I can tell that, you know, part of my plant back here has really suffered. And then, you know, I look at something like this and I go, ooh, that's water. But we just got rain yesterday, so I'm not sure. I think maybe I have to maybe pick this one up and move it. It's not loving this spot. So every year it seems to get a little bit smaller. Last year it was twice this size. So I will have to, when the weather drops, which it's going to do, we have a 10-day drop in weather where it's going to be in the upper 70s, lower 80s. I do need to get out here and prune this black lace elderberry. And then here's another one of my oak leaf hydrangeas here. And then it just goes down the side here with some hostas and some boxwoods. So pretty happy with how things are looking at the house. But let's go take a look at the cut flower garden and see how that's doing. All right, here we are coming up on the cut flower garden. I think it's doing pretty good. We've got a nice row of zinnias going on here. We've got sunflowers at 2 different stages. So those were the first grouping, and then I have a second smaller grouping so that I have succession plantings. The liatris and the straw flowers are doing pretty good. And again, I've got some smaller ones here and some larger ones there. Some more zinnias coming in down here. And then our amaranth is here. And oh, it's got flowers on it. It's doing well. Out of everything I planted, it's doing the best. So pretty pleased with how this is turning out. If I come around over here to our 21 raised garden beds, they are all planted. 10 of them are mine. I've harvested a lot of food out of these beds, and everything's doing well in here. So that is just a look at how that is doing. I'm so pleased with how everything looks over here. And we have no bug pressure or disease pressure right now today, July 3rd. Okay, so here we are coming up on our back sales area here. So it is the middle of summer, and so right now it's all about planting those hot season perennials and shrubs that can handle the heat. So we'll be doing some videos about those later in the week, or next week we'll hit on those. But what I wanted to show you was this planting that we did around our urn, which I think I am loving this. So we ended up planting some of the Proven Winners Bordeaux and Indigo in here with the Angelonia, which isn't quite keeping up, but the Angelonia dark purple in there. And then we used a Marguerite potato vine. So we mirrored this on this side and the other side so that those match. And then if you come around this way, again, we have the Indigo with a white fan flower, and then the Bordeaux, the Indigo, and then we did some blue Juncus grass. And so we just mirrored that on the other side as well. So I'm loving how this is looking and turning out. By the time it's all said and done, this will be draping all over the ground. It's gonna look fabulous. I just love how this turned out in our urn area. The other area I'm loving right now is our pond area. So I've got some bubble gun planted here, and then we put some more of the Bordeaux and the Indigo in the ground. And then we've got, you know, some beautiful foliage going on. That's one of our little lime hydrangeas that's not blooming yet. But then we've got, you know, a Woodgillia here, some little piglet grass. Look at the liatris and the daisies. This is our My Monet Woodgillia. I just love the foliage on this and the beautiful pink on there. I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. Look at the liatris. Oh. And then the daisies, so beautiful. And then can you see the water lilies are blooming? Isn't that gorgeous? There's 2 of them in there. And I just bought another one and put it in there, so it's kind of a baby still, so no blooms or leaves on it yet. But this one has been in here for 3 years now, so I'm pretty happy with the fact that it keeps coming back and it keeps blooming. Now we're in the back pergola area, and as you can see back here, all of the hydrangeas are doing well. Those are quick fires and limelights, so those will be blooming in about a month. We've got our knockout roses up here along with some new daisies that we planted, and then we just sprinkled the area with some different petunias. We have some veronica, some salvia. We have some beautiful blooming spireas in here. Back there you can kind of see some yarrow peeking through, some orange cone flowers, some Joe Pye weed. So this is just an area over here that is just planted to kind of create that background to the area. This tree line separates our property from the property next door, and then we put this embankment in, and it kind of separates the north parking lot from the area that we created out here. So this is our back area, the back sales area back here. I did have someone ask me if we grew pumpkins, and we do. These are little Jack B. Littles and the white ones, some loofahs, some gourds. I think there's one Howden's pumpkin in here. There's some blue pumpkins in here. So I just grow them along the edge right here along the greenhouse. Don't waste the space. They do really well here, and they're out of the way, and we pick out of them when they're ready. Another plant that's doing really well is our loosestrife. Now, this loosestrife was growing here when we moved in. This is actually an invasive in Illinois, and I can't sell it, but it's growing here. Everybody always wants it when they see it blooming, but I can't sell it. It's an invasive. especially if you plant it along a waterway. They say it can choke out all the aquatic life, but it looks really nice there. We have some solidago growing here, and as you can see, this bed has not been weeded. Some beautiful mop cypress. We've got the Chicago Apache daylilies going on, and some big weeds. Now, I keep these weeds for a reason. Do you see the aphids in there? So these are my aphid attractors. So we keep them in there so the aphids will go on these and leave all of our other stuff alone. All right, we are in the front parking lot. Yep, hot front parking lot. So in here is our front greenhouse. This is usually where that houses all of our annuals, hanging baskets, vegetables. Right now it is closed, it is empty. We are getting ready to do some remodeling in there. So we emptied it out so that it's ready to go. But we do always plant up these beds here with both perennials and annuals. This year we used jazzberry and bubblegum petunias from Proven Winners. These were all crazy leggy when we put them in. I also put in some of the meteor shower verbena and just stuff that was left over in the greenhouse that wasn't looking really great. Nobody was gonna buy it. We cut it back, we put it out here, and we just started fertilizing it, and it's now starting to recover. So we've got some butterfly bushes in here, some daylilies, and I love this daylily. I don't remember the name of it, but I just love that purple flower with that beautiful dark throat, that yellow in there. I just love that daylily. I wish daylilies bloom for more than just a day, but you do get a lot of them. We have orange poppies here that are done, some beautiful Blue Fortune Agastache here. Here is another incredible blush, and this one is growing in full sun. So as you can see, it'll grow in full sun and shade. We got some Guys Van Hees Veronica here, an obedient plant, some more daylilies. These I think are called Catherine Woodbury, and these are ruffled, and they're this beautiful soft butter yellow, absolutely just gorgeous. I just think that they are so soft looking. Some beautiful Mr. Boeing Ball arbovitas in here. So as we come down, another one of our beautiful daylilies. I love the throat on that one. So we've got some lantana in here, and then another Boeing Ball, and then here's some beautiful Monarda. Now this one, I can't remember what color it is, but it blooms a little bit later. I think it's more like a muted red, whereas this one is your vibrant red here. This is Grand Marshal, I believe is the name of it, and then it's got the coreopsis in front of it. I just think that this is such a beautiful patch right here, this area. Got some daylilies and some bubblegum next to it with some grasses. All right, here are the pots that we did back at the beginning of May. I think this is one of my favorite pots. Now, if I had to do it over again, I probably would have planted a, instead of a marguerite potato vine, I probably would have done a dwarf where it's a little bit smaller on the leaf, and I would have used a King Tut cypress instead of a baby Tut, but I still love this. This is the Scarlet from Proven Winners. These are the indigos. I just think this color combination is so gorgeous. And then look at the yellow in front of it. This is the improved yellow Mini Vista. And then we've got the Creeping Jenny. Can you see it down there below? And it's also in the back of the pot too. So it's over here as well. I just love the way this one turned out. And this is one that we planted way back at the beginning of May. We've been feeding it every Friday. So absolutely gorgeous. Then if we step down, we come down the aisle of this bed here. And again, we put in more of the purple and the pink. We use the Blackie, the little Blackie potato vines with the bubble gum and the vistas. And I think there's some gomphrena in here as well. But this is a peony that was finished. It used to be white. Then we've got our Midnight Masquerade penstemon that's just finishing up. Here is some lemon balm that we need to cut back. We had beautiful, glorious purple irises that were blooming earlier. And then another daylily in here. This one is called Purple de Oro. This one I actually do know the name of. It's got a beautiful yellow throat, and then that beautiful, I don't know, it's just this beautiful, it's not lavender, and it's not a deep purple. Mauve-y color. I don't know that it's mauve either. I don't even know what the color is, but I like it. And then there's some salvia in here as well. We've got some more Monarda that we planted this year that wasn't looking really great, so we thought, you know what, let's get that in the ground. It'll look good next year. And then we've got some of the Some Credibles by Proven Winners that need to be deadheaded, something desperately. So we'll need to get out here and do that. A couple more butterfly bushes, and then our poppies, which need to be cut back, but we were waiting for the seed pods to open up. And what you're looking for on the seed pod is you're looking for these little windows right here to show up. Well, let's see, right there, those little windows, and that's when you know the seeds are ready inside. So we're going to cut the stem off and we'll knock the seeds out of there. We'll hold on to the seeds and then we will plant those in the fall so that they can overwinter, and then they'll come up in the spring. And then we've just got a grouping here of the Coleus pineapple brandy. Why can't people put mufflers on their vehicles? I don't get it. They have to be so loud. All right, this is another bed that we've got going on here. Here is another one of our beautiful quick fires. I love the quick fire. It blooms about a month earlier than the other ones. This one gets about 8 by 8. And as you can see, it's got this nice open flower on it. And actually, here's a better example of it right here. These will age to like this beautiful mauve-y pink as we progress through the summer. So these are going to be absolutely gorgeous. Then I wanted to show you the other two pots that we did at the entrance. So there's one here and there's one here. And we ended up doing these with the Green with Envy potato vine from Proven Winners, with the whiteout verbena, the jazzberry. We did an icicle, or not an icicle, we did a helichrysum here. And then we also did the baby tut. So I'm loving these and how they're looking. We just flanked some pots below it that we had planted that are still for sale that didn't sell. So these just have like the Wicked Witch and the Jazzberry and the Violet Night, Alyssum, and this one has a Surefire Rose Begonia with that's a Silverberry. Okay, but I just love how these turned out. Now I'm not 100% in love with this. I like the potato vine, but I don't know that I like the potato vine being this big of a leaf in my pot. Now from this side, I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. From the other side, it almost looks like the potato vine is too much. So I don't know, I'm gonna let them keep growing, keep feeding them and see how they do. The other pot that we did that I really, really like is the Bordeaux here with the Silverberry. Now I did plant the Gara in it. I'm not overly impressed with this pink Gara. I have the white Gara growing at home and I'm in love with that one because it's still producing, it's tall, it's just movement in the wind, it looks great. And then I do have another potato vine here. This one's called Nero. I hope it drapes a little bit more, but it just now started to bulk up. But it seems to be doing okay and keeping up with the petunias from Proven Winners. But I do like the combination of these two together. Okay, the other grouping of pots that we did at the entrance were the Marguerite potato vine with the Meteor Shower Verbena from Proven Winners. We've got the Mini Vista Indigo right here, petunias, and the Bordeaux. And then I used the pink shades, verbena as well. And then in the top one, we've got the Purple Picasso petunia, and then we've got the dark purple Angelonia with the pink fan flowers. So I actually think I need to like pull this pot forward so that the other one's got more room to grow and drape. But I do kind of like how they look together. I just think that the potato vine is a little much. I actually want to prune that back a little bit so that the other things can kind of fill in a little bit better. And then that's just a pot of helichrysum with some red geraniums and verbena down below that one of the girls planted, and we just put it there. But overall, I'm pretty pleased with how the pots are looking. All right, the last bed I want to show you is this one that we did in the hot afternoon sun in the middle of the parking lot. And we added the bubblegum petunia, the gomphrena truffulas, the purple night, and then some of the senorita. Oh my goodness, I can't think of the name of them. I'll think of it in a minute. But this was the bed that we did. I am loving how this is looking. I couldn't remember what color those daylilies were. They're the only thing that look a little off because they're orange and red. I actually think the ones on the other end down here are yellow. So if I ever do the purple again, I might switch out those daylilies and move them someplace else. It's like this one thing that just doesn't fit in the bed. But I'm loving how they turned out. We did end up bringing a couple pots out here, and so we brought this one out that's got again the Picasso and purple with the potato vine. We've got it growing here, and then we have another one growing up here. And then these are the two pots that we did with the bubble gum and the cleomes. I knew I'd think of the name of it. So we've got the Senorita cleomes in the middle. I think that is a beautiful centerpiece. and then the potato vine draping on that. So this pot and the pot behind it, they are the same. And then this one here, I'm loving this one too. Look at this alyssum in here. Isn't that gorgeous? That is the purple night. And then it's got the purple fan flower with the gomphrena in here. We did add another potato vine in here, and I don't remember the name of this one. It was one that was left over that nobody bought. But it's got this really sharp scalloped leaf on it. So I'm loving that in there. It actually broke up some of that purple and gave it some better texture. My girl Tina put that in there, and I was like, that's perfect. So I'm loving how this is looking out here. I think it's just pretty, I guess is the word. I just think it looks really pretty. So I'm sure that there's tons and tons and tons of other things that I could show you, but those are the things that I think look really good right now, and I thought maybe you'd be interested in seeing them. So that's my little garden tour for today. I hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for our next videos that we have coming up. They're pretty exciting. I'm Michelle with the Landscape Connection. Thanks for watching. Keep on gardening, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, everybody.